What's your Uber rating?
4.9. I had to check it.
Of course it is.
And that's with my daughter sort of using it at night sometimes now. And I'm like, hey, don't damage my Uber score.
Hello.
How are we doing, guys?
Let's do it. Thank you so much for joining us on the ride today.
My pleasure.
I think Salesforce of any brand has done a really remarkable job at moving B2B marketing forward in really big and exciting ways. People, rightly or wrongly, connect B2B marketing with white papers and webinars, and that's certainly not Salesforce. Tell me a little bit about your lens on the moments that you would like to connect Salesforce to.
Nothing against the white paper. There's a lot of great white papers out there, but we realize at the end of the day, we're marketing to humans. So we're trying to interact with people in their daily lives. And so obviously we do some pretty big things like Formula One. We do sponsorships of the Super Bowl in the US, and then even here locally, things like the Australian Open as well. But for us, the idea is to make sure that we're getting in the moment that is relevant, but also where we can showcase our technology.
What's an example of how you showcase that technology?
We have this incredible partnership with Formula One. We were able to bring directly to the F1 website something that's called Your Tech Director. It's powered by one of our technologies called Agentforce, which is an agent. For the fans out there, they know that all the rules change. But for the over 800 million people that follow the sport, a lot of rules change that you may not know. And so what you could go and do is talk to this agent and ask the questions like, why are all the rules changing around the batteries? And what does it mean? And why is Oscar Piastri upset that his car's not doing what he wants it to do in Melbourne, right? And that's a really great way. So it's an alignment between an amazing customer of ours, allowing them to connect with their customer in a whole new way.
Is there a campaign that you think just absolutely nailed it and moved beyond a campaign into creating more of a moment in itself?
We launched Agentforce, right, which is the ability for agents, external facing and internal facing, to be available to a company. And we did this activation in Martin Place, and it was a perfect time because consumers had started to use the technology, but businesses really didn't know what it meant for them. So basically customers came in, or anyone off the street could come in and build a dream holiday with Trip-a-Deal. And so you spoke to the agent, and the way we made it fun, you actually had to then say who you'd want to go on this holiday with, and you'd create a digital love lock that would be then thrown on the outside of the structure for everyone to see. And so what it meant was a really easy way to step people into this new technology that, yes, they might have played with it personally to create a recipe or something like that.
It feels more familiar.
Correct. And then here is actually businesses saying, oh, so that's a business application for a technology.
We talk a lot about the really big moments, but there are a bunch of moments that happen in the day-to-day micro, like interaction with your products as well. How do some of those smaller product interactions and moments shape or inform your marketing strategy?
A great example of, we've got a brilliant team in Slack, and they think deeply about the experience you have when you're interacting with the user interface. They wanted to make it delightful. There's this new Today view. And the Today view actually starts off with a little bit of a cheeky opening line, like, have you had your coffee yet, Leandro? Or at the end of the day saying, you've done a great job, hope you're winding down. Or the best, I actually think, is when you've read all your messages, it actually shows a little sun with a beach image saying, you can relax for a little bit.
Great feeling.
Organizations can do this through their own apps or their websites. Like, what are your moments where that, friction can be removed and you can create a delightful moment? That is just as impactful as a campaign.
So in addition to reinventing and reimagining B2B marketing with these huge global events, you're also thinking really differently and dynamically about the personalities, the influencers that bring that brand to life.
Yeah, we've had an interesting relationship with a bunch of individuals. Back in the day, it was will.i.am. And now we've been using Matthew McConaughey as a brand ambassador. More recently, though, we ventured into a new area with influencers of MrBeast. MrBeast is actually a huge Slack user. For this year's Super Bowl, he pitched us on why don't I help you create a Super Bowl ad, which will actually be the most watched Super Bowl ad ever, and give away $1 million. The whole series building up is how he was planning for it with his team, which is wild. wild. And we had ads dropping to that. And then there was an actual in Super Bowl ad, which had the giveaway, which then meant people could open and use Slack to find clues to ultimately land $1 million. So really crazy idea. Obviously, a lot of teenagers know MrBeast. And so everyone now instantly credibility with their parents right now. They're like, oh, you work with Salesforce and MrBeast is doing ads with you. But also just showing our technology in action, right, in a new way is really, really cool.
Thank you so much for joining me on the ride today. It was an absolute pleasure. Looking forward to seeing what's next for you and Salesforce.
Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the drive. See you next time.
Thank you, mate.